All right. Really? That delayed? Hang on. So, wow.
So this would be our final
That's kind of surprising.
So this is pretty much all ready to install. There's just one
That's pretty good.
left to do. And that's just to kind of touch up our shrinking on
Sometimes on this,
Okay. So I kind of mentioned where the tape sort of lifted it. So you
let's
see
try
like
that.
this right here?
No
Those
buffer.
are just like the very like remnants of fingers. Like that's just like kind of little fingers on the very edge.
Okay, cool.
That I
That's
couldn't
better.
really shrink flat all the way because the tape was there. So all I want to do here,
Right about there. Okay. So we're getting set up. Tips, tip slip, tint slip. Going in.
just make sure you're not cutting consistently through.
One more.
Then you kind of adjust the pressure.
Lock this down.
So here on these little fingers on the end, I'm just repeating the process. I'm just going through.
We need to bring, where are you guys?
Just making sure it's like that, like going flat all the way.
Activate. Yo. And then we gotta do this one too, right? Go live. Go back here. Let it simmer for a second. I've got this focus that I'm gonna be doing. 2013. This is what I was more used to getting. You see a lot of clean cars. I wouldn't describe this one as super dirty, but it's definitely a little older now. Sedan Focus, not a hatch. All right, and then we're gonna activate this. I was hopeful. There we go.
I don't think I know that one. I pretty much only
And then headphones should be okay.
because I pretty much always just do the range when I do it. I've like never really been out.
Blade looks good. This one, did I swap it? I don't think so. Yesterday I had to do a removal and a retint on a Fusion.
I just wasn't expecting golf to actually be so hard, you know? Because once you like, before you've done it, you're just like, oh yeah, it's the lazy.
All right, we got most things. We got a new table today. Palette of some OptiGlide, so that'll work. It's very humid today. Where's my other tablet? Where did I put that? Oh, I wonder if I took it home. Could put chat over here. Probably should. All right, we're gonna get this taped off. Older seals, but more importantly, this one definitely has some felt. What size rolls do you use and why? I use 36 and 24s almost always. They fit most cars. 24s fit most front doors on SUVs. It's just like a good mix. There we go. Throw some power on it. An actual key. We had an actual key yesterday on a Fusion. I went to I pulled the car outside. Car was running. I went to look for the key. I'm like, oh shit. That's right, it's a key.
I'm left-handed with two hands. So there was like one left-handed club, like the entire place.
So I have a 36-inch roll. We're gonna use that, split it in half, cover the doors. So first things first is just a little bit of prep. We have this felt, and the way I always look at this is we can just cover it up. And instead of tinting against loose felty bits, you just cover it up, and then you get a nice brand new seal. What old felt? Oh, that's a loose window. Oops. Look at this. Look at this. That's always fun. This is like the class car. We have one of these sitting outside, but it's not a sedan. I wish it was a sedan. Doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah, we're booked up for the next couple weeks, and it's been that way for a little while. We got something. Yesterday, I didn't go live, but I spent the day doing a removal. A removal on a Fusion. It was old. He said he bought the car. It was a 2013 Fusion. Bought the car 2 years after it was made. And it had tint on it already when he bought it. So that had some old crusty film. So I spent the day doing a removal and then a reinstall. But I don't stream everything. It's just trying to do a removal and streaming is kind of obnoxious. PPF? No, we've stuck with Tint so far. All right, last window. Oh, that's nice. Somebody ripped the trim out of here. I wonder if we can put this back. This is supposed to go the other way. Or is it really supposed to just wedge up there like that? Let me look at the other side. Yeah, the inside. Yeah, it goes the other way. Somebody must have pulled and ripped this out. I wonder if we can fix this real quick.
The ones that always make me nervous are just like somebody
There we go. And this is gonna hook back up in here. There. We fixed it for him. These panels, they're a little obnoxious. They get in the way a bit. The trim comes out pretty far. Let's see if my tablet's here. Why do you flip up on two staging versus flipping down? If there's room, you could flip the other way. A lot of windows, there's just not room. There's less space to try and roll it inwards. And then this is fun too. You see all this glue and shit on the window? I don't know, it was here for a long time, but I saw that when I walked up to the car. Why do people tape like that? It's felt seals. Helps. Ooh, let me take a sip. It's 10:30. It's a hot day today. So let me have some hot tea. That makes sense.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's do it without the cut tape first. We'll do one.
All right, one sec here. It's weird how this happens. This is glitchy. It's like not current.
So yeah, the cut tape would still.
Let me see if my tablet's over here.
This wouldn't really get in your way.
Daniel's doing a one-day class today. Huh. Tablet. It's around here somewhere. Or it made its way back home. Might have made its way. Oh, it probably made its way back home. Okay. Well, it is what it is. Let's get to cleaning. We got a roll of film. Cleaning, cutting, installing. Most of what I need is over here. We're doing C220. .36-inch roll. I'm going to split this in half. It's a way to save film. So instead of doing like 20 and 20, and then you're using 40 inches of film, or a 24 and 24, and then you're using 48, we're using a 36-inch roll, and then we're going to cut it in half, and then you're using 18 and 18. Take our safety cutter. And I tilt it at a little angle so I don't leave it straight. I tilt it like this. Just helps with getting enough film to cover both. You get a little extra margin. We're going to lock these together, like so. Then we're gonna cut it. So I'm gonna start with some of this overlap. And we're gonna trim this. The other pattern's gonna go on the other side. So what we're doing right now is cutting out 2 at the same time. Save a little time on cutting, because it'd be obnoxious to individually cut every window. It's where you can save the most amount of time hand cutting. Trim that. And we're gonna shift this over. Cut this side here. And pull that back. Pull this down. Now, on the inside here, this seal is pretty offset. Ford does this all the time, where they go really high on the outside seal. They go about like a 1/2 inch lower on the inside. So you can definitely drag your pattern down a little bit farther. Make sure that it's tucked in a little bit. But it's a Ford. If you went matched up on it, just as long as you don't have an eyesore there. Because if you just tucked it a teeny bit, you'd see all this, like, so much sunlight gets down here still. Looks funny. All right, we're gonna cut the top edge here. I'm gonna take my top edge blade. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I go too far, this is a really good example. If I put way too much blade out, like if I go like this, most of the way I'm fine, but next thing you know, you're cutting into the trim. You don't want to do that. But you do want a little bit extra blade just to help rest on the top edge. So when you make this cut, it doesn't just like slip. There we go. We're going to trim. Around our corner. Do I have a ruler over here? No. That's okay. Doo-doo-doo. That's not annoying, is it?
This roll is, so when you get like a full, like brand new roll like this is pretty thick, this is pretty heavy, so like if I'm not careful, like if I don't like keep this metal cut, it just wants to take that. It really does go.
I'll take it.
I'm gonna help you get this off really quick. We're doing a door, just get some practice holding the 24.
Okay, now we can separate these. Oops. Oh, they even saran wrapped it. Nice. A lot of just general scuzz on the inside of the window here. This is a good one for scrub pads.
So yeah, I'll tell you the ways right now. So this is gonna be
When you shift it over, do you cover the full seal on the outside? Not the full seal, and not all, like, you just need to tuck into the sides. You don't need to focus about covering the side seal.
not slide on itself. So notice how when I stick it like
All right, where? It's one of these, it's one of these. There it is.
so you can just do that.
And I'm hoping if I refresh,
And you can tell that.
you guys will pop up there.
But yeah, when you lay this on here, you're always
So
you want
the goal is to make our pattern a little bit bigger than the sides to just cover up the light gap. You don't need to shift it all the way over to the edge of the seal for the sake of covering up the seal. It's most of the time it's a good guide for like a approximate distance for just like generally 1/8 of an inch inside the seals is perfectly enough to cover the window. It goes straight up and down. You might have a slight wobble to it. So if I drag it all the way over here, this is more than 1/4 inch. This is like almost a 1/2 inch here. This could be a 1/2 inch. That's pretty far. This is a focus. It's got looser seals. So it doesn't matter on this one if I make my pattern a little bit wider. So I can, but if the seals were like super tight and I had an outside seal that looked like that, I wouldn't drag it all the way over. I just would drag it over a little bit to cover up my gaps. So that's the main thing. Just cover up your gaps. Where's my heat gun stand? Let's pull one of those over here. How long have you been tinting? Since 2008. The tape that I'm using for the inside seal is called Seal Guard. There we go. And you can find it here. Okay, let's grab a stool. We're gonna put a door cover on the inside. Clean it up, then install. I'll put my sprayer. My sprayer. Okay, so I like razor blades for cleaning the glass. They do a really good job of scraping. If a window is especially scuzzy, I think it's worth using both. Taking a razor blade, making sure any major bits is scraped off. And then you can take a scrub pad. And it doesn't hurt just to go over those scuzzy bits a little bit more thoroughly. There's our top edge. So we're going to do the same thing with the top area. How many cars do you do on a busy day? Oh, we just keep things fairly late. If I pulled in a bunch of cars, we're not streaming. It's kind of a trade-off. But I'd shoot for under 2 hours without a windshield, and then with a full windshield, under 3. I wouldn't want to take longer than that. Have you ever scratched a window with the blade? I've only scratched the windows doing dumb stuff. Never taking care, never with a blade, just using it as intended. If you keep the same blade for too long, it'll start dulling out. Extra thick. Oh, extra thick with slip. This one is tint gel with slip. There we go. All right, let's give this stuff a try. Oh yeah, it's definitely more gel-like than mine was. That's cool. OptiGlide is doing some updates. So we're testing out one today with slip. So when I put it on the window, instead of just being a thick gel, it's got a little bit of slip to it. So then when I place my film on it, it'll slide better. That's the idea anyways. Get this lined up. So we want to get as close to the top edge as we can without going over. It's nice. good. It's very good. I likes it. I'm gonna roll this window up. Rinse this out. Pull our liner. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. This one's definitely harder because you have the how far down we need to tuck to get into the seal, and then the panel comes up higher than the seal does. It's a weird design for it. It's like weird to have this just come up and then like dirt and just shit will just settle there. And it's hard to reach in and clean. Like it just, you weren't winning any points with this design, so I don't know who made it a thing. Here we go. I can go over a little bit harder. Yeah, the trucks are extremely bad. I found it's not even a big deal if you don't tuck into the seal. The main thing is like you want to keep your edge hidden. For as far down as the seals go, they're at least not also super tight. That'd be a huge bummer. You finna do. You finna do another one? Not today, no. My schedule's booked out a little bit. You can definitely schedule with us though. When did you stop taking seals out? I've really like never pulled seals much at all. Very, very rarely. I just never learned early on, and now it's become it's not completely pointless for me, but it just doesn't make sense for me to do. Because this one turned out great. It's like super clean, and I didn't have to remove anything. It's the harder way of tinting, but it's nice that I just don't have to remove anything. Yeah, I put tape before like this tape. I put that there. Tired of popping and opening door panels? Yeah, I mean, look at like every one of my live streams that I've done. They have largely no seals that are ever removed. I don't care which way people do it. It's just funny to me how debatable it gets. It's like do whatever gives you the better result. I'm more consistent with bottom loading. That's cool. Do whatever helps you get a job done quicker and better, and you're more comfortable with doing. We're always trying to make a customer happy, not other tinters. And then it becomes a big pissing match of like methods and styles, and it's stupid. Just do a good job. Slide this over. So this is a good example of like a 1/4 inch seal here. Pulling the pattern over to the edge of that is a good guide. Same thing with this side. They just take a 1/4 inch seal. I don't know why it's so much wider, like a 1/2 inch here. At Tint school, we took the seals out. We teach both here. I'll tell you, if you go to a tint school and you've never tinted before or very little, the first thing we want people to do is try bottom loading, because they can spend so much time trying to 2-stage and just like wrap their head around that and tinting. It's just too confusing. There's way too many steps. We don't pigeonhole people into doing that all day. It's just like, at least on your first one. But we show both. You always should at least introduce both ideas. There we go. This one kind of rounds, comes down here, starts to round, and then it curves and goes in the window. So this whole part comes out. This is actually part of your top edge. When you look at the side seal, you're like, it's all connected on the side. That's my side. No, this part is your side edge. This is your top edge. Why do people make tinting seem complicated? No, there's a lot of tedious little steps to it. But as a mechanic, you can way more easily pull a panel apart and get the window tinted. A lot of people that are getting into it have never touched a car before, other than driving it. So the more background you have doing something automotive, I know a lot of mechanics that had a hard time with tinting. Some people just have a knack for it. Carbon blade for the top edge, stainless steel for all the sides. So on this curve here, remember I rounded in, so you're just going to follow that arc. There you go. Gonna separate our patterns. The worst cars you've tinted? For me, it's been BMWs. BMWs can be a pain. In general, like an average car that we would get would be Audis. Audis are not fun.
So nothing is hurt, but what we want to do is we just want to flatten that out, but make sure that it's going just equally straight up and down. They can keep going right here.
Spray paint would be quick. That's right. Spray paint would be quick. All right, we're gonna shrink this. Get the heat gun hot. We're gonna lift the film here at the bottom, not all the way across. Heat gun is hot. I'm just gonna move it inwards till I start seeing the film react. It starts shrinking in. I'm gonna hold it at that distance and just move it along the bottom edge. And we are shrunk. A little bit more right here. Here you go. Just ready to go. So now we're gonna install it. Where's my door cover? I put it down and then it ran away. That's goofy. It's gotta be here, right? Oh, it is here. Winters are up and down too. People are still getting tint. But there's busy days and slow days. There's definitely more slow days in the wintertime. But tint's become such a popular thing over the years. Cars are still getting sold. People don't like driving around in fish bowls. And just because it's cold outside doesn't mean it's always like gray and snowing. YouTube was new back then. That's when I started. And honestly, when I started on YouTube, it felt like YouTube had already been around for a long time. First video I posted was in 2011. Is there something crusty here? No? Scrape our window. Most of the day my hands stay pretty clean. When I do something like this, that's when my hands get dirty. It's years of grime that's never been cleaned off the window. So that's good. I'm gonna sweep it off one more time. I'm new to tinting. What size roll should I use? It depends on what you're working on. But this is a 36-inch tall roll. You can split that in half for a car. But in the very beginning, handling film is obnoxious. So on this, I would say 20-inch rolls are cool. You're gonna waste a little extra film, but handling roll will just be easier. That on the side doors and then a 36-inch roll on the back. You're so slow. I appreciate that. We're not trying to win any races today. We're just trying to do a good job. And then I got other shit I can do.
Because the more that it does it, it's kind of counterintuitive, but the softer I press with this,
And this is gonna be the best looking focus that there is.
this on the very end, this is just because this is lifting right here. That's actually gonna lay fine. This is once again, remember when I was showing you the rough side.
All right, we get the majority of it squeegeed.
So this isn't even in your area. So even though you see this right here, it's gonna lay flat if I just trim this off here.
Card the edges, so we can put a little more pressure down.
So you know that just lifts right here, but it's laying pretty flat. You kind of see that. But that means this is gonna lay flat.
I've heard be cool. I've never been interested in trying them. Kind of like a cool view or something like that. Like it just, I don't know. Something about misspelled names I always felt was weird. Be cool, it just sounds like it's trying to be cool, but it's just like another, I don't know. But it might be good. That's true. People definitely remember the quality of work. Your bank account remembers the speed. You do need a happy balance between both. I'm definitely slower than I used to be, but I give myself the time to be. When I was tinting for shops, all the sides and rear in an hour and a half is what I would aim for. And then front doors in a half hour. If it's getting a full windshield, you add another half hour. That was usually like a good baseline to schedule everything. And like up to 5 full cars in a day. And that was a pretty busy day for me. You could throw in a couple sets of doors and stuff. How long would it take you to do a rear window on a 95 Camaro? Those aren't too terrible. They're like more pulling than shrinking. I'd spend probably like an hour and a half on that back window. Like nowadays. Why are we? I thought the car was smashed to smithereens. Why are we spending money on tint? Dude, that's what people do. I've tinted cars that have like no brakes, fog lights hanging off, bumpers gone. Gotta get the tint. Fuck all the rest of the stuff. Those were some of my favorites. Where's all that water go? It goes in the door panel, drips down, and then comes out the weep holes on the bottom. There's always rain getting in your door. So there's gaps. There's always gaps here. So when it rains, there's water that is definitely getting into your car. You just don't see it. But they design it that way. So like that area where the window rolls up and down, even on the inside of the window versus the outside of the window, they don't squeegee your window when they roll it down. It drips to the same spot, and there's like a plastic membrane that separates, believe it or not, it separates like this stuff on the inside from this stuff in the door. Okay, I need another razor blade. I put the tape on the sides, so when I tint it, see how clean that looks? See how clean that fucking looks? That's why. That's why we do tape, gel. I spray the air. Seems to help. I definitely could. If you're in a dusty environment and there's stuff in the air, yeah, misting the air. When tinting a windshield, do you heat shrink it first, then make your cutout, or do you cut out and then heat shrink it? You want to shrink it first. It's far easier to get your cutout. There's a few reasons why. When we go to the back window, I'll show you exactly why. Back window is going to be the same thing that I would do on a windshield. Why do some tints go on the inside and some on the outside? No, you either didn't hang around to watch the full video, or it just showed you part of the process. They'll get there. We just need a pattern first, and it's easiest to just cut that on the outside. On the windshield, I always have issues with fingers and bubbles for the mirror cutouts. That's something else that's going on there. I'll typically have something that pops around a mirror. Like, so what he's saying is like around a mirror tab or like a big mirror cutout or something, you can have fingers pop up around there because like that was part of where you shrunk. So if you keep that area flat and try and shrink around it, you're not going to have fingers that pop up in the same way. But it's pretty normal to have something pop up, but you can try and shrink it a little bit flatter. You might be just carting it down a little bit early. Have you ever killed a battery? Or go insane with a key beep? What key beep? What's that? Yeah, I've definitely killed batteries before. This is one of, I'd say, a strong candidate for a dead battery. Where could I buy a kit or tools? Right here, actually. And then you can save 5% if you use code 313TINT at checkout. Oh, that car beep. What car beep? No, these ones are for always a little bit obnoxious. Again, I don't know who at Ford was like, that's the winner. We're gonna put that sound on every car. That's the signature Ford sound. Why? The squeegee blade is a tri-edge prose blade, and the handle is called the reach around. Still got that little stick. There we go. Not much stick, a little stick. Window tinting's a serious thing. There's a lot more steps and care and stuff into just doing like a good job. But we're just really car hairdressers is what we are. Try not to take it too seriously. You have AC in your shop? Yeah, we have it up front, and then we just leave the doors open and try and push some of it back here. Does the tape make the tint glide easier? No. The car is dirty, and we need, it's got felt seals. So that's a way of trying to keep dirt from running into where I just cleaned. Gritty, very gritty. It's really easy to pick up a little piece of grit on a car like this, and then it gives you a bad day. The tape is called Seal Guard. We're gonna roll this up. Rinse out underneath. Does Core give you a free trial? Not that I know of. Core's built up enough of a user base, they don't care about giving out free trials. Their free trials is everybody else's glowing recommendations. Granted, they're not perfect, but other options are way fucking worse. But Core's really good overall. It's just a hard thing. That's why so many of them are mediocre. What's the main differences between cheap versus a quality tint when it comes to application? Cheap carbons and ceramics. The worst that I find is just they don't shrink very well. That's like the inherent trait that a lot of them share. But overall, it's less about the installer. The installers obviously make it about the installers. Like a good heat shrinking film means that it's a better film. It's not true. A good heat shrinking film is like you can have on a cheap film or you can have it on an expensive film. It's just the way that that film, ew, look at all that dirt. That's why we tape the seals. You see all that shit? It's about the product, though. So like all that dirt sitting there on the side seals, and you put tape over there, and you just don't have to worry about it as much anymore. Oops. Look at that. Look at how fucking clean that is. It's beautiful. More of that. I've seen multiple shops rate their tint as great and heat blocks, yet they fail at BTU tests, except a few that has higher prices. Is this the same for ceramic? Well, here, we'll relieve you guys. Ta-da! It's gone now. Now we can complain about other things. Yeah, let's put some cover. Put some covers. What was the question we were just talking about? Shops can, like, dude, it comes from both sides. You have some tinters that just don't give a shit and will install anything that comes in a box. I tinted with one of those guys. He would like try and get sample boxes, and you never knew what he was going to install. I had to fix a lot of his work. He would do a crap job. And it's just like you never knew what he was actually going to install that day. There's plenty of guys they'll charge a really inexpensive price, not give a shit, say it's amazing, and the customer has no real way of knowing other than first impressions, like looking at it. They don't really know the product that they just got. It's very easy to bait and switch people. There's a whole bunch of glue on this window. I don't know what it's from. This is a scuzzy window. Sure, all that shit's loose. But it's glass. Glass cleans up very fast. It's nice that we can use razor blades on it. Oh, but what I was saying too, there's lots of, there's a lot of poor installers, but there's also a lot of customers that, like, they haggle on price. They just want the cheapest shit. It's all the same. They fight you tooth and nail. And, like, at the end of the day, those, like, they don't seem to care much either. So you just have this thriving ecosystem of just cheap shit. Stuff fails. People promise the world. They don't deliver. It goes for anything. The tape is called Seal Guard. You can find it here. And then you can save 5% on tools with the code 313Tint. All right. So now this will be the last squeegee pass before the film gets there. Where's my juice? There we go. So we're going to tuck this side in first. We're going to pull this back. See how that gets in my way? I'm going to pull this back, flatten it out on the glass, and then slide it underneath. I'm using Tint Slip, which is the slip solution. You always can use a glass cleaner or other cleaning things, but we're tinting it, so you're just trying to like knock everything loose and scrape it off the window. Soapy water does a great job of doing that, especially because we can use razor blades to scrape. So the razor blades scrape, they slide really nice with a slip solution. How long did it take you to get good, or did you just know you were good? Dude, I definitely sucked in the beginning. It was my full-time job, and I didn't feel reasonably competent until like a year into it. Like at that point, I was like, okay, I'm doing all right. But I still had stupid situations. But this was at a shop that did automotive accessories. And so they would pull in just any random vehicle. And whoever wanted tint, they would just get on the schedule. Sales guys wouldn't know anything about the car. I was pretty inexperienced, so I didn't know anything about the cars either. So it was just like, roll the tint lottery today and see if this car is going to be a pain in the butt or if it's going to go okay. Never knew. It's just kind of the way that goes until you build up some experience, and then you know, that's experience. You get familiar with more situations and what it's like. The more universal way of making installation far easier, though, is just to pop out the seals, and then you learn more about taking door panels apart, which is just a trade-off. I think it's a great trade-off. Guys that worked at stereo shops that did speakers or just more mechanically inclined, bottom loading is a great option. If you can get the obstacle out of the way, it makes tinting far easier. And then you just got to go through the normal back window pane. People that say that this tape doesn't stick well, I get genuinely confused. I want to see how they're putting it on the seals or whatever, because I swear to fucking God, I have a harder time trying to get this tape to come back off. Not that it doesn't leave residue behind, but getting it started, my fingers are all wet. It sticks nice. That's what I wanted out of it. Oh yeah, we fixed this for him. He's never gonna notice. There we go. Doors are done. Does the soapy water go into the door panel? Yes. But it goes into the protected side. So your window, when it rolls down, it's in this area. Everything that's in front of it, if you take this door card off, you're gonna see a plastic membrane that basically blocks all that away. So water is made to go in there and then drip out the bottom. When you look at these seals, see that big hole? See that big hole? When it rains, it just gets into your door anyways. So tinting is not much different than your car sitting out in the rain. Now, when we tint the inside of this area, that's different. But that doesn't seem to hurt anything. It's just our luck. We win on that one. I don't have any good answers for you on that. Yes, there's going to be water. It is going to evaporate. Everything's going to be okay. Otherwise, we wouldn't really have a business. Thousands of vehicles are getting tinted every day. You would hear about it. This is going to be a bit of a grimy one. I saw some Scotch tape on it. It's never been wiped down, as far as I can tell. I heard carbon tint has less haze than what? Carbon tint can have a lot of haze, but it depends on the quality of carbon that you get. This. They all can look like shit. A dyed film doesn't necessarily have haze. It still can have a poor polyester, and that'll give you haze, though. Cheap carbon film, mix of the two. You can have poor polyester and bigger carbon particles, making the film hazy. And then ceramic films, same thing. Ceramics are often going to have carbon in them. And shitty carbon particles with shitty ceramic particles just make it look like. Yes, shit. That's right. Look at this. Look at how hazy this window is, and we haven't tinted it. We got some tape here. The rest of it just has like that it just builds up over the years. It's what, a 2013? This is ancient now. Like me. Look at that hair. You see that hair? Look at this one. It's even touching the window. Oh, we got a bug. Looks like an old fly that's like completely discolored because it's been here for 20 years. Old carpet deck lid. Versace on the floor. I like seeing this stuff again. This was the type of shit I would tint daily. But this car would have been new at the time when that was regular for me. That went on for a long time though. In like the beginning of my tinting career, I generally tinted cars that were like this, that were just varying states of mugh. Window doesn't roll down. Back seat has stuff in it. Car didn't get washed. Interior is dirty. It's fine. You take all that. We're gonna put that up here. We're gonna put a cover over the seat, more for me than the seat on this one. Pull out the headrest. Okay, whose idea was this? Ford? Like, let's make both latches on opposite sides. That's convenient. Is there just one button on this? Oh, there is. Well, I'm not going to argue with that. I just thought there was two. In my country, tinting car windows is illegal. Mine too. Not completely, but we have restrictions. All right, we're just gonna put that there. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. Look at all that. You don't gotta worry about any of that. The tape is the biggest. We'll see how this peels off. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, it came off. Heck yeah. That tape's fairly new then. It's probably one of the newest things on this back window. That fly's been there longer than that tape, that's for sure. Okay, so I typically just take a dryer sheet, cover up the back window, and then go clean the inside when I'm about to install it. This one's gonna be a little different because it visibly looks distressing. Where is my scrubber? Oh, it's over here. I'm gonna get a new scrub pad, and we're gonna scrub it. Oh, it's not over there. Where the fuck did I put my mini? You know, I really like the mini scrub it. I do. I misplace it so often. There it is. I use this more than the regular size scrub it because I can keep it with me. I need that. And this. I guess we could use this maybe. I don't think we'll need it, but might as well give it a try. If we need it. Oh, and a seat cover. What's this one? Ooh, a hand sanitizer in a fancy bottle. Okay. I'm gonna go get a seat cover and a towel for me. Your video helps me a lot. I'm gonna tint my windows tomorrow. Oh, good luck. Good luck. Are you a car detailer too? No. No, I don't have time for that. No, I'd spend way more time detailing this car than I would tinting it. Might as well just tint another one. Okay, seat cover. Again, that's on this one. This is more for me. I'm gonna put a towel. Here we go. Where's my sprayer? You might have time to do more if you didn't stream. True, very true. But then what's the fun of tinting anymore? I tinted yesterday off stream. It was a removal though. It wasn't as fun. All right. Go ahead and scrub this one down. Headliner's falling apart. Back glass, as long as it's not tinted, typically cleans up really fast. So even with all that scuzz, typically wipes off pretty fast. But I want to make sure I don't have any crazy sticky bits. Ew. Oh, my squeegee's gritty. Camera. I actually have an Action 6 now. That's on the outside. Yes, it was on the outside. Okay. Let's take a look. So there's no way around it. The only way to get these little bits away is to move the deck lid away or take an air gun and try and blow all that shit out or vacuum it or whatever. But we're going to tint with it there and take our chances, which is typically fine. But when we lay the film on the glass, it always like clings up here and then it slides in there. So I never take the film and physically drag it against the deck lid. That's where all that dirt would come from. But it looks clean. Yeah, I've got a Action 6 and a neck mount, so it just hangs here. Camera works really well now. Finally. Holy shit. I was using a phone for a long time. And before that, I was using like a GoPro on a head mount. All right, so quarter windows while that's drying should be our next priority. What's carbon window tint? There's just a few different types of window film. Carbon is going to be a more economical, but still a little heat blocky. All window films are made with something, and cheap ones are going to be made with dye to get your coloring from it. Carbon films are actually made with carbon. Can last longer. Than cheaper dyes, but a good one will be clear and it'll block out a lot of heat, or some heat, not necessarily a lot, some. If you go 5, it'll block out a good amount of heat. Oh, I forgot about this. So, I'll just do it, save time. By carbon, do you mean carbon fiber? No. No, like there's carbon particles that give the film its coloring. They share some similarities, though. There's just no fibers, but there's carbon. But it's not going to make your window stronger. Carbon fiber is like fiberglass. We couldn't do that with window film. There we go. All right, so this is a normal. This is a normal one, so we're gonna put that up there. And then I can get my pattern right from here. Might as well just flip it over and do that. To use black vinyl on dot matrix. I have some around for the very rare occasion I get a car like that that would need it. I don't do anything special to dot matrix because there's really nothing to do. It's a film issue though. It's just the way that film is. It's got a thin adhesive. That adhesive doesn't fill in the dots completely. So you either have to sand them flush with the window, which wouldn't make any practical sense on a car because you have like a thin dot border around the entire window. There's no way to do that down here. And it wouldn't make sense to like pull the glass, so things just kind of stay the way that they are. It's just on cars and some windshields. It's not on trucks and SUVs with factory glass on the rear. You won't see that. But yeah, there's no practical way of fixing that. I did see a film. They dried out the edges and then they were able to push it all down. And then I found out a little bit later it's a TPU style window film, which I never heard of before. But TPU style would be more like a PPF. Whoa, okay. That was weird. That was really weird. I was gonna put that pattern on backwards. And I cut it, and I was like, this is the driver's. Wild. So these aren't super big windows, but they do got a little curve in them, so I might as well shrink them. Come on, come on. Just a little snap. And then this one, I had my flat edge along the top, so this one's gonna be out this edge right here. It just was orientation of the film. And where you're doing the outside, they do the inside here. This is the Detroit area. We just do things differently here. It's not upcharge to tint the inside. Right? It's an upcharge. Which one's better, Instagel or OptiGlide? I like Instagel better. Or sorry, OptiGlide. I like OptiGlide better. Instagel's still great. It's just a bit thin. So when you use one that's a bit thicker, it works a little bit better. They both do a great job though. Instagel is primarily for PPF installations, and then it works with tint installs. And it was our one of the only real options at the time. To make a application to put on the headlights. Yes, you can get headlight and taillight film. It's gonna be paint protection style film. So this is OptiGlide, and I just got my hands on this one this morning. This has slip in it as well. So, to be clear, I'm still going to use my slip solution. But regular OptiGlide has nothing. It's basically just thick water. So Sun Distributing is experimenting with adding some slip solution to it. Some guys like spraying it on the entire window. All right. You guys saw the state of this car? All right. That is fucking nice. It's so normal to see like a couple little specks here, a couple little specks, like in the harder to reach areas. And then you start getting used to not seeing any. I wouldn't even say you're getting used to it. It's just like, it's fun every time you tint a window and you're just like, that's fucking like perfect. It's cool, man. I like it a lot. All right, let's peel this one. Is that sprayed enough? Where's my mini squeegee? Special film to do my house. Yeah, you want to get architectural films? We have those. The biggest reason, we could take a little side break for a little flat glass education. Because that's what this is for. House windows are not the same as car windows. Car windows are tempered or laminated. Did the whole pattern in the tank. I like it. So these windows can take a lot of heat. So it doesn't matter that we put dark films that absorb a lot of heat, get really hot, whatever. You're not going to cause any problems with it. House windows, they're just not made the same. They're annealed, they can crack. So two things you want to be sure of. One is a cover your own ass thing. The other is what is called a low E coating. And a lot of modern house windows and windows in general have low E coatings. And it sounds confusing, but what a low E coating is a little metal layer. It's effectively a tinted layer on the window that is going to absorb some heat and also reflect some heat away. Because with houses, we want to be able to reflect energy away from the home. On cars, we like black films because they look cool. On houses, we still would like black films, but that's just going to absorb more heat. So architectural films are going to be reflective, and they're going to reflect some of that heat away from the home. So we just want to make sure that the inside pane or the window that we're tinting doesn't already have a coating on it that would absorb more heat. That'll then push it over a safe point and then could possibly crack the window. So a meter like this, this is a low E meter. They have cards that are very similar to this. This is going to tell me if there's a low E coating on either this pane that I'm touching right now or the outside pane. So not the inside surface or the outside surface, but this has one pane, an air gap, and then another piece of glass on the outside. So there's 4 surfaces to this. So I put this meter up here, and then it's telling me it's on the far pane. So that's telling me there's a low E coating on this window, but it's not on this piece of glass, so this would be safe to tint. The other thing that you want to make sure of is, it is here, seal failure. So this is just a cold spray. It's the same type of thing that you can get from like a office supply store, like a duster, out of a spray can. But you can do this and create a cold spot on the window, and you want that to stay cold for a minute. You do the same thing with an ice cube. But you let it sit there for a minute, and then you want to, see, that's like just frozen. But you wipe it off, and if there's no condensation on the other side of the window, then the seals are still intact. The seals are still fine. The only thing that could potentially happen is if there's natural air in between the glass panes, is condensation can build up in the windows, and a customer wouldn't necessarily like that. So you would just want to check those windows before you go to tint them. But yeah, you want to look for architectural film. We have it at 313 Tint. And then there's also a what is called a film to glass chart that kind of gives you guidelines for what films are safe with what types of windows. The biggest thing is like you want them to be somewhat reflective to keep that heat away from absorbing into the windows. So a lot of architectural films are going to hover around a 50% absorption rate. So if you click on an automotive film, you're going to see an absorption rate along with some other specs. You would just want to make sure that that is pretty much below, like all the architecturals are pretty much going to be below 49 or 50%. So if you just take like a automotive carbon film like we're installing right now, this one would absorb too much heat and risk cracking the windows if that window is being hit by sunlight. If it's an interior window and there's no sun on it, it's perfectly fine. But you don't want to just take a storefront and then just put a dark film on it. You could have a very expensive problem on your hands. Is it safe to tint a sunroof with dark tint? I've never personally seen any issues from it. We have a very large community. Everybody seems to like, I heard. It's fine. Do what you want with your sunroofs. People are still breaking Ford windshields in our group, and that is a well-documented issue. So, sunroofs, I have yet to see any post of somebody actually breaking a sunroof from window tint, but so many people like, I heard. Who the fuck is making all these rumors? It's not me. I've done sunroofs for people, no issues. I'm just surprised how many rumors there are and like no evidence. I'm not saying nobody's ever had an issue, but for as much as people talk about them having issues, I still haven't seen one. Yeah, I saw a video of somebody posting about the potential. It's so much hearsay. Well, I saw this guy that said maybe, yeah, maybe. Somebody said it once, years and years ago, and then that rumor has spread to fucking everybody. I don't know. What are people hiding from? From you. Why do you care to look in? What temperature is the heat gun at? It's at high. Heat guns just need to be really hot at a high temperature, at any temperature. If it's enough to shrink the film, it's enough to burn the film. So we have some film. If I hold my tint farther away and gently put some heat on it, oh look, it doesn't really do anything. If I get it close, well, it burned. So when you're shrinking, you're finding the proper distance to just like, you start with it farther out, you bring it in, and then you slowly start to see it shrink, and then you just keep that temperature. But if you hold it too much in the same spot, eventually it's gonna burn, it's gonna melt. Just like cooking an egg. Set your pans to medium. But if you leave it on there for too long, it'll eventually burn. Electric tint. It seems cool. There's nothing that practically exists yet, though. Unfortunately. It'd be nice if there was. I'd say, like, it's still in, like, the early experimental... Like, it's been that way for a long time. You can get switchable film for, like, commercial buildings. But you can see through it, and then when it turns to frost, or like a shaded frost. There's no like in between. I haven't looked into like the liquid stuff for a little bit. The only stuff I could find was really expensive. Have you guys seen those? Like the videos of like a liquid tint? It's like a ceramic coating for your glass that actually blocks heat like a ceramic film would. I wanted to get some. It was expensive though. It didn't make sense. And then they said it's like not really removable. It's got like a supposed 10-year lifespan. It's not removable. And liquid application. Takes a long time to cure too. What are you cutting on? I'm cutting on our cut guard tape. So instead of cutting directly on the window and risk scratching, I cut directly on the tape. And nice thing about it too is like I was able to cut directly over that sticker and I didn't damage the sticker. So that's why I like the tape. Just takes all the risk off of putting a score into the window.
Until you really get used to it. But everything that's above this line is going to go up.
This one? Yeah, smart tint, electrochromic tint. Yeah, oh, dude, I definitely have. It exists. It just doesn't exist in any type of practical means. PLDC. You see how these windows, I can't see through them? This is a frost. So that's what the electrochromic tint turns to. It stays like a hazy clear, and then it turns to that. So it's never made sense for cars. It looks like some people are working on a few different types to make it see-through. But nothing mainstream, and I don't think there will be anytime soon, but it'd be cool if something comes out eventually. All right. So, we gotta tint this window. Do I have a nearby towel? No. I want to wipe off the panels. Wipe that off. Transition film. You can pick up some transition film, but it's still like kind of janky. Ew. I gotta be careful up here. If I drag my squeegee up here, there's all sorts of grit right up here. That headliner's falling off. I don't want to get that wet. Nobody's gonna be running wires to each window for it. Oh, accessory shops definitely would be. It would just be an expensive thing. And it'd be an alternative if it ever actually comes out, like in some sort of like practical means. The ideas are super cool. There's tinting windows or adjustable windows on a few vehicles, but it's just like sunroof area. I think that's the only place that I've seen it. Like a BMW's got it. There's an older VW that had it, like an EOS or something. It'll be very, for the time being, it'd be expensive and it'd be very specialty. But you're not gonna have a car, an average car, spring for something like that. And if an OEM ever does it, it's not gonna be, you're not gonna be able to drive with it, not while it's activated. It'd be like when it's parked, you can tint your windows. All right. So I'm gonna pick this up my arms. I'm gonna put my knee on the seat. Reach forward with my right foot. Center myself. Spread my arms out. Want to keep our fingertips towards the end. Then we can get this nice and close to the lower area on that back window. Start putting some film up on the glass, and we want to keep it shy of the headliner. So see how it's kind of stable right now? That whole lower spot is good. Put it lower on the glass, put some film up, and now this bottom edge, I'm gonna push the window down, let's tuck it in. Da-da-da-da. Ooh. Ew. Classic shitty car problem. It's very tight in only one spot. I think we got enough wiggle room for it. Put this up on the top, avoid the headliner bit. Ooh, let me see battery life. 3%. Oh shit. I heard the sound. I always do that. I hear it and I'm like, I gotta go change the battery. And then somebody says something, and then I forget. Make sure everything's lined up. Okay, I'm gonna be back. I gotta change out a battery for you guys before my camera dies.
It's like multiplying percentages together. I think you divide the decimals. So if you put 35 over 55, it would be 0.35 times 55. Or by
I just need a new brain. Or a new heart. Here we go. Yes. What? I'm in the middle of a back window. What is it?
So it'd be 0.35.
I can't even see what it is. Oh, the scrubber?
You end up with about 13.
No, I didn't need to.
So pretty close. Okay. And if you were to put just
But I brought it in there. Okay, so this area right here is really pinched. We gotta be careful about that. I don't run into that very often anymore, but that definitely was a quirk of a lot of older cars like this. See how tight that is right there? Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. I'm gonna take my neck mount off so I can actually get in there a little bit easier. Oh, that helps. I don't quite have the... There we go. That's what it... And a tail fin. Tail fin's good. There we go. That actually worked out better than I thought it was gonna work. Whew. Oh yeah, I need my neck mount. See, when I need to get really close, this camera still gets in the way. It's not ideal for everything. Only window tinting. How you go about shrinking when there's vinyl decals? Like this, you can just go over them. If they're small, they're not a big deal. If it's like big lettering, like if there's a bunch of letters like stretched right up here, that just depends on your skill. You can still make it work, but there's definitely some that would make it not possible or not very practical. So you would want to remove it in order to tint it. There's vehicles like that. Where it's just like, yeah, unfortunately, we just can't work on it with that in the way. It's got to be removed. Flat glass questions? Yeah, ask. Gonna do one more hard pass over the whole thing. There's a few areas I could have pressed better. And I want to make sure very quickly where those spots are, so I can make this look as nice as possible. I don't want to leave this sitting here for 10, 15 minutes. This one stuff will look bad. Should have brought a bulldozer, I think. tail fin worked better than I thought it would here. That's cool. Looks good. Oh. I did have one. Yeah, tail fin's actually better on this one. That deck lid pushes really hard right here. So I was able to still sneak the film in. I pushed down on the deck lid, snuck the film in, and still just took like an educated gamble. It was pinched here, but I was able to basically use the squeegee to hold the deck lid down as I swept. And then it's a whole dotted area, so the whole thing's gonna silver around anyways. Clean. Clean and looks good. How would you remove old tint? On a back window, I would use a steamer. You're gonna want heat and moisture, but videos are gonna be your best help on that, and there's a lot of them. You need sometimes a lot of patience. There's really no magic to removing window film. There's things that you're gonna try, and sometimes it makes it much easier, and sometimes it's just a pain in the butt. All right, let's wipe this down. We're gonna go over the car for any potential touch-ups, small things. And clean it up. That wasn't bad. Started at 10:30. It's been 2 hours. Would heat guns help with removing tint? Yeah, heat and moisture are your friends, but heat guns are dry. So you just want to be really careful when you're doing that on a door window, because you're gonna have to get the heat gun fairly close. And you just don't want to burn your interior. So a steamer is gonna be safer. But if you look at two front doors, remove and recent. It was a live stream I did on Friday. I removed the front doors with a heat gun. There's two parts though. There's getting the film off, and then there's dealing with the adhesive. Sometimes the adhesive comes off with a steamer, with a heat gun, and sometimes it just doesn't come off. That's why removals can be such a pain in the butt. The glue is worse than the film in most cases. There we go. Looks good. Wipe off the deck lid. crystalline or XR plus. You're doing too much research. Both of them would be good. In a blindfold test, you probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference between either one. It's going to be whoever does the better install. Getting a good film matters, but getting good installation is also going to matter just as much. So it comes down to whoever does it. You'd be happy with either. Oops. There we go. Walmart film is crap. And it's not even cheap. It's cheap for a small roll, but square footage, you actually spend way more on Walmart film. I have videos with Walmart film. They're some of my best videos. It was fun to do. It looks good, car still a POS. Yeah, no amount of tint changes that. You had like a hat here, hoodie in the back. Ta-da! Looks good. Look at how clean this focus is. It's probably washed as often as I wash mine, which is almost never. But damn it, the windows look good. Good stuff. Alrighty, dudes. That's gonna wrap it up for today. I honestly thought this was gonna be just the front doors. That's what it was on the schedule. But then he was like, no, it's just supposed to be the front doors and the back doors. But then he realized that he has little windows here. And then he was like, well, if I'm gonna do that, then I might as well do, it's like, yeah, that's what most people do, is we tint the car.
No windshield?
No windshield. Thankfully.
Oh, because it's cracked.
Yeah, it's a little cracked.
Yeah.
Got it's a little dirty, a little cracked. I'm happy I don't have to do one today. But that's gonna be it. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you. You have a good one.